Hello you guys, it's me Melanie, and today I have a very exciting video planned. Today I am going to be recommending you guys books based on your favorite Taylor Swift song. So I got the idea to do this video actually back when I was in like 10th or 11th grade in high school. I had to read this book for a class and it reminded me so strongly of a Taylor Swift song that I was wondering if she had actually gotten inspiration for the song from the book, and I will tell you guys which one that is later when we get to it. And so I had that idea a while ago, but back then I didn't have a YouTube, and I always thought to myself, if I ever make a book YouTube, I need to do a video on this. And so today I am finally doing that. I know that some people have done videos similar to this before, so I hope there's not a lot of overlap between my recommendations and other people's. I haven't really watched any other videos, so I'm just kind of hoping that I have some original recommendations in here. If you, like I, did not get tickets to the Eras tour, we can just commiserate together, and I will recommend you a good book to read, so whenever Taylor comes by to your nearby stadium, your local Eras tour, you can just not think about it and open up a book to read and try to enjoy yourself. I hope you guys enjoy. The first song I have is The Way I Loved You from Fearless, and the book I have for that is The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I feel like this one is the perfect match. This song just kind of has two sides to it. You have the guy who is the safe option, the one who everyone thinks is right for you, the one who's nice, he's kind, he's respectful, and then you have the guy that you really want to be with who may not be your parents' choice for you or your best friend's choice, but he's the one who your heart is really with. And this book definitely has that. There is two options, and one of them is, the nice guy. He's sweet, he's kind, and there's the one who the main character Belly just always seems to have something for. You don't know necessarily who she's gonna end up with. Is she going to go with the thing that might seem right for her, or the one that would be more of a chance, but she seems to kind of have an attachment to. So I think this is such a fun book, and it is going into summer. This is the perfect summer read, so if you have not already read it, I highly recommend it. And you can just listen to that song, maybe make yourself a little playlist, and read this series. It's very fun, it's very easy to get through, and I think it is a really good match for The Way I Loved You. The next song I'm going to do is Invisible String by Taylor Swift. This is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, and this is actually the one that I was teasing in the intro, and the book I have for this is Jane Eyre. I know this is probably not what anybody was thinking, but I have specific quotes that I would like to mention. I sometimes have a queer feeling with regard to you, especially when you are near me, as now. It is as if I had a string somewhere under my left ribs, tightly and inextricably knotted to a similar string situated in the corresponding quarter of your little frame. I remember reading that and just I did one of those because that is just so he really said that, okay? That is literally invisible string. I don't know. It's definitely a little more of a heart-wrenching version, but as you can probably tell by my lack of the ability to speak, that blew me away. The second I heard that song for the first time, I was like, hello? Is this my favorite book? Because this actually was my favorite book in high school. So anyways, if you haven't read this, and especially if you're the type of person, if you loved Pride and Prejudice, I actually like this about 10 times more or more than Pride and Prejudice. So if you have never read it, I highly recommend it. The next thing I have for you guys is Mastermind, and for this I have 6 of Crows. And for this book, this isn't exactly for the song, I feel because the song is obviously referencing more to she's a mastermind in the way of romance and getting someone to fall in love with her, or she planned it all out, that kind of thing. This one I would like to relate the mastermind to Kaz, because he is a mastermind in everything. He is the leader of their group. he just like always has a backup plan. He always has a way to get out. I am actually just about to read, I have right here, the second book. I just finished this, and I'm like kind of, it's one of those books where I started off and I slowly, like, I was not super into it at first, and then now I just keep thinking about it, and I feel like that's how a lot of fantasy is for me, because it's like hard for me to start, and then once I finish I just am like, oh my gosh. Like, people who write fantasy, I feel like their brains are just operating at a higher level of efficiency than mine, because I could not come up with all of this. But anyways, so I when I was just looking through all of like Taylor Swift's discography, trying to figure out songs and books that I could put together, I was like, Mastermind is Kaz, and I'm very interested to see what happens with the romance in the second book. So I'm like, maybe it could even relate in that way. I don't know yet, but I will find out. So that is the next one.
I feel like a superstar.
The next book is one that I don't have with me, but I'll put it up on the screen, and this is for Highway Don't Care, and I chose Love and Other Words. I feel like this is a really good song for Love and Other Words, for kind of an unhinged bad reason, but also just in general, like the love that the characters have for each other and the love that the two like people in love in the song have for each other. I feel like it correlates really well. I'm not going to go too much into this one, because this is one that I could like easily spoil the ending if I tried to explain it. Not going to do that. So I will just let you guys figure that out for yourself, but I highly recommend both the song and the book.
I feel like I'm super far away from where I'm supposed.
After that, I have Sweet Nothing, which is also one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, and I actually have two books for this. Oop, I dropped them. So the first book I have is Archer's Voice, and I love this book. I'm actually not a huge romance book fan. I like books where there's like a subplot of romance, but this is one of the only romance, like strictly romance books that I loved. I think I gave it 5 stars or maybe 4.5, something like that. Really, really good book. But I think that I would relate this one to the song just because both characters have been through so much, and people have not always been kind to them, especially one of the characters is super broken, and I think I love their relationship because it's like they can just be themselves with each other. They're not asking the other for anything. They're just like kind to each other, and it's like a peaceful relationship, and to me, like, that's kind of the true meaning of love for me. And the other book I want to recommend is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers, and so this is actually a Christian fiction book, and I really, really, really loved it. There's some things in it that kind of make me laugh just because I would say it's like kind of outdated or like more traditional. I thought this was such a good book. It's really big, but it is like so easy to get through, I think, and I just feel like it's hard to make a love story that like has so many layers to it, but this book did it, and it's about a girl who has like been through so much, and like there's not been a single man that has treated her well in her life, and like everybody wants something from her and not in a good way, okay? And then she finally meets this guy who like kind of just teaches her how to love again, and like almost like opens herself up to finding who she really is, because it's been so long since she's been able to like let her guard down, and I feel like that is just the perfect correlation to the song Sweet Nothing. So I really highly recommend both of these books. Like, I think out of this whole recommendations, these are really good if you want a romance.
To be, but I know I'm not lost.
The next recommendation I have is for Dear Reader. This one's a little bit different, but I actually have a memoir. So this is The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This is my favorite memoir that I've ever read, one of my favorite books I've ever read, and I think that this is a good recommendation for this song, because I think both are just kind of about someone who's had to overcome a lot, and it's almost like an unreasonable or just unrealistic amount of like hardships that they've gone through, and it's about like recreating your life or just pushing forward when you feel like you literally have nothing left. That's kind of what I get from the song and what I get from the book, and almost like this feeling of like that you really can't trust anyone around you except for yourself. And I think this book is really great for that, but it doesn't necessarily have a depressing ending. So if you're one of those people who wants to read like a tough memoir to get through, and the fact that it's like heartbreaking, but it's gonna end on a decent note, like don't be too depressed yet. this is a really, really good book. I highly recommend it. I don't hear it talked about very much, but it's so good.
I feel like I'm on the moon.
The next recommendation I have is for Would've, Could've, Should've. And for this one, I have Ariadne. So I feel like this is a bit of a stretch. Like, I know some of you guys might be like, wait a minute, what? If you've, like, also read the book. But the reason I want to recommend this, first of all, I just feel like in general, like, if you liked that song, I feel like this is a good book. Like, most people would like it in general. But the reason I'm actually recommending it is because the song is about a girl. I wouldn't even necessarily say woman because, you know, the whole theme of the song is that she was taken advantage of by an older man. And so the way that I see this relating is that in this book, one of the main characters is taken advantage of by a man who has power, who she believes can, like, do something for her, who loves her, who cares about her. And so she helps him, and in turn, she's hurt because of it, and he doesn't care about what the consequences are for her. So I thought that was a good relation. I do really love this book, and I also just kind of want an excuse to recommend it because I don't hear people talk about it a lot, and it is very, very good. It is like a Greek mythology type book, so if you enjoy that, you would also enjoy this.
I feel like a month of June.
The next one I have is The Lucky One. So this song kind of has like two sections of it, and the first one is talking about how this person, the lucky one, has all these things like fame, and they're rich and they have everything, and so people are like, wow, they're so lucky. And then at the end of the song, it's more from the point of view of someone who now is rich and famous, and they're looking at this person who was rich and famous, now retired, or like kind of going off on their own, and getting out of that scene, and they look at them and they say, wow, you're the lucky one. Like, I thought I wanted this, but look how horrible it is. Like, you know, I have all these things, but people aren't kind to me. People make up stories about me. They say things, and the way I'm treated is not like a human, things like that. So for this one, I put The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And the reasoning behind this is, obviously, if you've read the book, Evelyn is infamous. She is just the biggest movie star of her age, and so it seems like she has everything, but if you read the book, it's like her struggle to find love and how it never is real for her, things like that, until the end. Not going to give too many spoilers. When she finally is able to kind of escape in a way, it's hard because she's not able to like be who she truly is in front of people, be famous and like be herself at the same time. And so though many people like might see her and be like, oh, she's so lucky, she's so famous, she's so beautiful, talented, like she really is hurting on the inside because of what she's not able to like express to the outside world. So that is my recommendation for that song.
Came in the heart of winter.
We are almost finished. I have 3 more. The next one I have is No Body, No Crime. This one is not an exact matchup, but I did put The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I wanted to get like a little mystery in here somewhere so it's not all just romance or mostly romance. So for this one, I wouldn't say like who's killing who is necessarily adding up, but the whole vibe of like getting revenge, and for someone who deserves it, that is this book. I really liked this book. It's not like my favorite mystery I've ever read, but if you want a really quick mystery, like a good beach read or just something that you don't have to think a whole lot, this is really good. I didn't guess the ending, so to me that's a win because I feel like guessing the ending is kind of like, I mean, in a way it's exciting because you're like, oh, I'm so smart, but you're also a little disappointed because it's exciting to get that big plot twist. So I think it's good. It's a little bit dark. I mean, there is a murder. I think this is a good recommendation for that song.
But I thought I'm not lost.
The next one I have is a book I actually don't have with me because my grandma is borrowing it. So for this one, I have The Lakes, which is one of my favorite songs by Taylor Swift. For this one, I put Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite books, so I really can't go wrong with this. I feel like this song is about someone who is, it's kind of about escapism to me. And so, although Where the Crawdads Sing isn't necessarily, I would say, has more of like a romantic undertone to it, kind of get a lot of the same feelings from the song and the book, and just in that they're both kind of out, like they're isolated and they're kind of just enjoying their life in the wilderness. So I really like both of these. I know it's not exactly the same, and like one is more of like a foresty vibe and one is more of like a marsh vibe. So yeah, but they're both really good and I highly recommend both. The last one I have is Getaway Car, and for this one I put The Inheritance Games. I actually don't have the first one, so this is the second book in the series that I'm going to show you guys. The Inheritance Games and Getaway Car, I don't want to like give a spoiler, but there's pretty much like one scene that exactly like gives the same vibe, and I just feel like Getaway Car is like an exciting song about like an adventure or like something where like people have done things and they're trying to find out information. It's kind of mysterious but exciting and thrilling, and I get that vibe a ton from this series, so I wanted to put that. I don't want to say who or what or when because it would kind of give away things, so I'm not going to, but if you like Getaway Car or just the album Reputation in general, I kind of just get Reputation vibes in this series. I don't really know why, but it's just good. I like both. Reputation is one of my favorite albums. I feel like I've said that about everything. I'm like, this is my favorite Taylor Swift song. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. Okay, we get it. You like Taylor Swift. Like, you can stop now. This is all the book recommendations I had. Let me know if you guys agree with any of these, or if you guys have a book that fits it better, and also just if you have another random Taylor Swift song that I like didn't mention that you've thought of like a really good book for, like how I had with the like Jane Eyre and Invisible String. I literally thought about that when I was in like 11th grade. Here I am, I'm in college now, and I am finally making a video about it. So either let me know in the comments, or, you know, keep it to yourself and make your own video, because that could be fun too. If you do, write me a comment and I will check it out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna link my socials in the description so you guys can check those out, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!